Hey, everybody. NYCFC Views Live. And not only did New York City score their first goal ever against Red Bull New York in a competition outside of MLS, they also won their first game outside of MLS. It was the U.S. Open Cup round of 16, New York City winning a midweek game at Sports Illustrated Stadium. National Soccer Hall of Fame, while we're on live, they are also on live in Frisco, Texas. We'll go over that a little bit as well. And a whole bunch more. U.S. Men's National Team, World Cup. Will we talk about tickets and transportation? Yes, on NYCFC Views Live.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. NYCFC Views.
Collins approaches the shot, and New York City wins the first MLS Cup on their first try, and they're going crazy. Tiene tiro y gol! Gol! New York City es el campeón de Major League Soccer.
The sickest New York City FC podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Well, hello, everybody. Let's welcome in the other guy on this stage. What do you say? There he is, Roberto Abramowitz. I'm Glenn Crooks, and we are your friendly co-hosts of our weekly NYCFC Views Live. We are live. It's happening now. And in coaching, Roberto, we always talk about staying in the present. Staying in the present. You can't think about the past, even though it happened and you maybe can learn from it. And you can't look toward the future because what happens in the moment is what sets forth the future. So it's a very, a coaching point for you just to start the broadcast.
Thank you very much. I had learned one also from Ted Lasso, be an amoeba.
Be an amoeba?
Yes.
Okay.
Just forget what happened and go on. You know, amnesia is a good thing.
Oh, I thought you said an amoeba.
I did. That was part of the show. They always talk about that.
But isn't an amoeba like this thing that spreads out all over? An amoeba is this large. What's an amoeba? Amoeba is like this large cell that spreads all over the place, right? What does that have to do with forgetting about something?
I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to look up the quote. Maybe I'm misusing it.
Yeah, I think it's not amoeba. I think it's something else.
No,
now,
I think it is.
The thing Coach K said, and other coaches have said, but he was the first one I heard say it. He was on an interview with Charlie Rose, and Coach Mike Krzyzewski, legendary Duke coach. He 2 words: next play. That's it.
Yeah.
Next play. That was his thing because basketball and soccer is the same. Games of transition. So you can't get caught up in anything that just happened. You got to move on to the next play, which is in the moment. So let's stay in the moment, Roberto. We were in the moment in Orangeburg, New York today. What did we learn? Well, we learned before we spoke to Pascal or Nico Cavallo or anyone else from Rene Weiler, the Swiss coach for DC United in his first year, that Ty Baribo is out for the second straight game. And that's significant because, Roberto, DC United has scored 11 goals. You know how many he has of the 11?
6.
Over half.
Yeah.
Wow, that's going to be rough.
It is. It absolutely is. I mean, that's crazy that, they depend so much upon him. But now everybody else, gets a chance to step up and shine for DC. And New York's got to be careful. They can't be resting on their laurels of what a great game that they played in Sports Illustrated Stadium against the Red Bulls. The one thing that you forgot to mention in the opening was that not only did they, not lose in the U.S. Open Cup, but it's the first time in any type of elimination game that New York City has beaten the Red Bulls because they lost in the playoffs
You must not have,
2 years ago.
You must not have listened to the Open because I said that.
No, you
But
didn't.
anyway.
You didn't say. You didn't include whatever your
Right.
Open was. Did not include the playoffs.
Okay. So New York City and the Red Bulls before yesterday before the other day had met 5 times outside of the MLS regular season, and the Red Bulls were 5-0 with 5 clean sheets. So that is better put. That is more clear.
Yes,
and you are right. Now, to be clear as to the second leading scorer for DC United, it's Jackson Hopkins with 2 goals, and he has scored each of them in the last 2 games. The game-tying goal in a 4-4 draw with the Red Bulls, and then the opening goal in a 3-2 win over Orlando. Those are their last 2 games. So, they're coming into this one without Ty Baribo, but they didn't play with him in Orlando either. So there you go.
Right.
There you go.
And look, New York City has to figure out in MLS how to finish out games and how to win games. And that's been an issue for them. I mean, obviously they played out the game very well and finished it off very well against the Red Bulls. Now the question is, can they do that in MLS? Now, remember, a few weeks ago, they smoked Westchester SC 5-2. We thought everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, things went back to being the way they were in MLS. So now we hope that for New York City's sake and for their fans' sake, that this win over the Red Bulls is the impulse that they need to start getting back on a winning record.
My sense is that, and Pascal, in our conversation with him today, talked about the Pittsburgh game, and it'll be part of also the pregame briefing on the pregame show coming up tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. We're kicking off tomorrow at 3:10. So 2:45 will be our air. Is it tomorrow? No, Sunday. I keep thinking the game is Saturday. It is Sunday.
It's Sunday, 3:00. If you show up, you're famous for showing up early.
Yeah,
right?
That would break the record.
Early, that would break the record. By the way, I made this huge mistake. I was saying be an amoeba. It was actually be a goldfish. That was the.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Be a goldfish. And basically, forget about everything. Which goldfish?
That's funny. And I think I'm right about the amoeba. Amoeba just covers.
Yeah, it is. You're right. I totally screwed it up.
Okay.
My brain is an amoeba.
Yeah.
Empty.
So anyway, we know our airtime for Sunday, which is 2:45. But Pascal talked about the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. That was his first U.S. Open Cup game. He went there with his side. I'm sure he didn't quite know what to expect because it's his first year in this country and this U.S. Open Cup thing. And they lost to the Riverhounds. And he pretty much put it out there that it really hurt. I think it hurt in a bad way. And I think you could see there's a serious nature. Not that there wasn't that. You can't claim that.
No, you can't. I agree with that because he put out a team against Pittsburgh that should have won that game.
Well, right.
I don't remember the exact lineup right now. I just remember how I felt and what my thoughts were.
Well, yeah,
after the game, they should have won.
Yeah, but a big difference, and not that he was necessarily. At fault for the goal, but maybe Matt Freese would have handled it a little better. We don't know. But Tomas Romero was in goal. To me, that's a symbolic difference between last year and this year. He's got Matt Freese in the goal against the Red Bulls in a U.S. Open Cup game.
And the Red Bulls, to their credit, aside from Ethan Horvath, basically had their first team out there too. So both teams went for it with their best squads.
Yeah, and it was first half was kind of, it was a hard played game, but second half was much better certainly for New York City in terms of style. Well, let's get to some of the things that occurred. I think the first thing that we all noticed is Malachi Jones warming up with the starting 11. So he gets his first start since June 28th, 2024. So his first start in almost 2 years. And he had a pre-assist on the first goal, which was a corner, and we'll get to that in a second. There were
pre-assist.
Yeah.
Is that a new category?
I've heard somebody use it, and it makes sense to me because so much happens. Well, both sides of the ball, really. So much happens when you score a goal. And I always tell you, I like to rewind at 30 seconds, and that's about the rewind on this one, maybe not quite 30 seconds, but Malachi Jones made a great move on the wing. Cavallo hit a perfectly weighted ball through, and Malachi Jones got the corner. The defender came up late, and he tried to serve it. It went out for a corner, and then Maxi Morales hits Kai Trun on the head, and boom, it's 1-0. So
okay, can I just say something? Because before I forget, I need to interrupt you here.
All right.
Okay, because I agree with everything that you say, and I agree with the importance of the play that you're describing that leads to the goal. So and I think you've talked about this before. So, what's wrong with a secondary assist, with a hockey assist in soccer? If that's the case.
No, the second assist is. This is interesting because you're right, and this is going to sound contradictory.
Yes, it is. If you defend it, yes.
No, but I didn't call it. It's a pre-assist. I'm not.
No,
calling
I
it
know
a
that.
assist.
I know that. But in the past, you and I have had conversations about it, and you're not a fan of the hockey assist.
No, because there was one assist. I'm trying to remember who had it. I'm pretty sure it was Thiago Martins, maybe his only career assist. And, about 25 more things happened before the ball went in the back of the net after he touched it, and he got an assist. And I'm exaggerating, of course, but it was those are the kind, those you can't call that an assist. Call it a pre-assist and give it that sort of flavor because it was important in the play, but it's not an assist. That's all.
Yeah.
And it's not really contradictory. I'm calling it a pre-assist. So I'm giving.
Yeah, but I mean that would be considered in any statistical consideration in any league in the world what you're describing, and yet it is important. And I'm agreeing with you that it's important. Yet I can make the exact same argument, or even stronger. Okay, that the hockey assist, although it may seem inconsequential, but if that pass isn't put the way that it is, then the next play doesn't happen and the goal doesn't happen, most likely.
Yeah.
So it has value.
Yeah. All right. Well, the only time
it's the being in incongruency of both things that I wanted to bring up.
Well,
that's all.
I think now taking it another level, I think players should get an assist that draw penalties. Because without that, I think that should be an assist because it's the direct play before the goal.
Can you assist on your own goal?
I think a shot by Nico Fernandez-Mercado, which is saved by the goalkeeper and rebounds to Kai Trun, and he stuffs it in to an empty net. I think Fernandez-Mercado should get an assist because it was the previous action to the goal being scored. So those are some of the other assist things.
That's an interesting concept. I can go either way on that.
I don't think it'll ever happen. I just.
I know, but I mean, you just hope that it gets recognized by the team, and especially when it comes to contract talks.
Well, the other thing about the assists is you got FotMob only gives one, and that's one of the that's one of the platforms we use pretty frequently. And then MLS uses the second assist. So you're looking at stats. If you happen to see both of them together, you could see one player has 8 assists on one platform, and they've got 4 on the other.
Right. So when you're using FotMob, and I've used FotMob, and sometimes I don't know if they have any secondary assists. I'll always say something like, it's his 3rd goal or it's his 5th primary assist. I'll classify it that way because I don't know if there's any secondary assist or not at that point when I use FotMob.
Yeah, here's one. So here's the other one. If Ojeda, if he pushes the ball past the defender, runs onto it and scores, he should get a goal and an assist. That's what I said.
That's what, okay. No, but I was saying that if you get fouled in the area and you convert the penalty based on your criteria, you would get an assist on your own goal.
Damn straight. Thank you very much.
A 2-pointer.
That's right. That's right. We're changing the rules, man. We're changing the rules. All right. So let's hear what Pascal had to say after the game about Malachi Jones started, and the plan for him was just to play the first half. So here's Pascal.
Easy one, because we still have to be creative in order to get Malachi to the level where we think he should be before he starts competing for 90 minutes or even 90 plus. But I'm very excited from what I've seen in the first half, apart from the moments I've already seen in training since preseason. But today, in such a big game as this one, to see Malachi with the qualities that he has and can bring to the game. It was phenomenal to see this. He was so happy, obviously, because he was only allowed to play 45. We had to take him off, and I said I was almost ready to pick a fight with the medical staff to keep him on longer, but health comes first, obviously. And but this looks promising. I hope he stays fit and available, and that we can enjoy Malachi for a very, very long time. He has very special qualities. He's a special player.
Yeah, we both bumped into him at the training facility today, and he's just very thankful. He just seems like he's grateful that he's playing again, and which, of course, after everything he's been through, whatever happened that first surgery, it didn't take, and he had to have a second surgery, and he had that surgery in Manchester, I believe.
Yes, he did.
Well, I don't think we'll ever know what exactly happened, but that's not really the point of this.
Oh no, we did hear what happened. I believe that the rod that they inserted in the first surgery simply wasn't holding properly or wasn't thick enough, and they had to reinsert a rod. So he's like me, except that he's actually an athlete and stronger. That he has a rod that goes from his knee down to his ankle.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess you heard it and I didn't. So very good. That's why there's two of us on this show. So
yes.
if one doesn't have the information, maybe the other one does.
And between both of us, we make about half a brain, so we're good.
Well, he looked good. He also put in a great service for Fernandez Marcao, flashing to the front post that was saved by John McCarthy, veteran in goal for Red Bull. So it wasn't like they had a poser in goal. I know it wasn't Horvath, but John McCarthy, that's a really good backup to have on your roster, McCarthy. So let's get to,
before we go there, I just want to say that. And I mentioned it in the press conference, and I've mentioned it, on social. I've never seen anything quite like what happened in that game. When you're talking about 3 corner kicks taken from the left side or from any side that go to the exact same place 3 times, and the ball gets deposited in the exact same place 3 times. So they went to the top of the 6 at the near post, and the ball went and hit the side netting on the far post. All 3 goals.
And there's the minutes.
Insane.
9th minute, 39th minute, 57th minute. I guess
and 2 of them by defensemen. You could claim 3 by defensemen if you'd
sure.
like.
That's
but
3 defenders.
Trevor was playing midfield, so we can't say 3 by defensemen.
Oh, yeah, you can. He's a defender also. 3 defenders scored.
But he didn't. No, he was a midfielder. Stop it.
What are you talking about?
He played midfield that game. He did not play defense.
I know, but he's a defender also.
Yeah, I know, but that does.
What are you talking about?
Glenn, he wasn't playing defense.
Well, I have no problem saying that 3 defenders scored goals because he's predominantly been at the back in his minutes at New York City FC. You're right.
Also, put up the last one that just came in.
What, you only want me to put up things that kind of confirm? What do you
stop. Just stop 1 second. It's not. And when you went when you decided that you needed to go to the bathroom. And you missed this part.
I did.
And that Maxi with the corner kick trying to do something that Messi has never done, which is a score in Olympico.
Well, that's Maxi's. He's been unbelievable. 3 assists. The delivery is the key. We saw that scene on social media. Thiago Martins handing out game balls. He gave 1 to Truin, gave 1 to Gustavo, getting their first goals for the club. And then he gives 1 to Rob Vertugien, the set-piece coach. And then Vertugien walks across the room and hands it to Maxi Morales because he basically said, we can't do this without proper delivery. So then Maxi got the game ball. And,
for sure.
But I'll tell you what, Martins, he should give Rob Vertugien the game ball. Rob Vertugien, for 3+ years, has designed many a set piece, in particular corners, to get Thiago Martins free at the back post. Martins famously last year, 14 headed goals in front of goal and none in the back of the net. So it was great to see him get it, and it was a wonderful. All of them were unbelievable finishes. But if anybody deserves that ball from Martins, it's Rob Vertugien because he keeps designing plays for him.
It does, and the funny thing is that from where we were seated, you can't see the bench. But at the time of the second goal, I was standing up. And when the second goal was scored, I looked down at the bench and they mobbed Vartugian. Everybody on the bench mobbed him. So, you know that he is just heavily involved in what was going on. And yes, he deserved a game ball. And I mean, this is the goalie coach, but he's more than that.
Well,
by
he does,
a lot.
No, he sets up the set piece defending and attacking. So he's like anytime there's a set piece on either side of the ball, you can see him up in the tech. That's the only time he rises from the technical area pretty much, is to make sure everybody's positioned correctly. Let's see. Well, I thought this was, I took this shot a little bit early in the match, but what a turnout. Number one, there's 500 people supporting New York City in that upper left-hand corner from where we were sitting. But man, they provided the noise, Roberto.
They did. They were louder than the Red Bull supporters, who were closer to us down on the right side. So, but boy, they did bring the noise. They brought the chants. They made fun of the Red Bulls. They made fun of their supporters. The whole thing. I still don't love as a matter of fact, I intensely dislike the F the Red Bulls chant. I think that's childish and just absolutely not necessary. And there's actually a funny story. So, the girl who does the PA for New York City, Marisol, who's just lovely. She's just such a wonderful, she's a great talent. She has a show on Sirius XM on Spanish radio, and she does the PA for New York City in Spanish. She does some English as well. She's one of the co-hosts on the show, Marisol Vargas. She's one of the co-hosts with Todd at the beginning of the game, right? On the field. She's stadium. Also now in stadium, and now she also does Gotham FC, so she's everywhere, which is great. So she brought her daughter, who's like maybe 4 or 5 years old, and they sat below the supporter section. She posted a video that was fantastic, because the little girl's in the car and all she kept on singing was F the Red Bulls, but saying the whole word. It was great. And it was like she went to bed and she goes, Mommy, what? F the Red Bulls. Because she knows she was getting her. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. But yes.
That is a funny story.
Guys, please stop that. I know you don't like them, but come on. Don't do that. So
Nico Cavallo, who got the start and played the full match at left back in place of Kevin O'Toole. O'Toole's not being demoted, by the way. I've seen that come up in certain social media circles. It's just he had the night off, and Cavallo played, and Cavallo did pretty well. But he had a great. Someone asked him about today at the presser about the efficiency on the corner kick goals.
We prepare every week for set pieces, so it's nothing new. Kind of from our sense, we knew they were susceptible to getting scored on, and we were able to take advantage of that 3 times, which is absurd, but perfect for us.
All right, I'm giving him the quote of the week for calling it absurd, which it was. And those are the first 3 set-piece goals given up by the Red Bulls in all competitions this year.
Right. So what did they see that? So he says they're susceptible, and yet they hadn't given one up, and they were susceptible because they gave up 3 in one game at identical plays.
Well, you know how it works.
I mean, that's really interesting that they saw something that either nobody else saw or nobody else could execute, and they executed it to perfection.
I don't think it's that complicated. I think, and the season is so. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm speculating. The season we aren't. Well, I guess we're almost a third of the way through the season. Come to think of it, but there are often times where you're vulnerable, but you don't pay. And you mentioned execution, and perhaps they've seen things that other teams couldn't execute, but you could see that they were vulnerable in those positions. I'm sure that's what it was. And boy, I've never seen execution like that on 3 corner kicks in one game. I mean, it was precise.
It was precise, and they were carbon copies of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anything. I asked Maxi today. I saw Maxi as he was walking out of the facility, and he said, never seen anything like that either. That's amazing that it's 39 years, 60 some odd days now, whatever it is, that he is performing at the level that he is performing. He's a wonder. He is an absolute wonder.
So he's got 9 assists in 11 competitions, all comps. 9 assists in 11 games. Now, the 3-1 final. So remember, it was 3-1. We joked a little bit with Cavallo because he probably should have made it 4-1. And but there was a point in the post game where Pascal talked about, the vulnerability in that 3-1 range. And here's what he said to me today. This is part of the pregame chat I had with him, which will air in its entirety at 2:45 on Sunday. He also talked about at one point you were up 3-1. That's the final score. And you were talking about trying to maybe get that fourth goal to really put it away. And what you said is that if you had given up the second goal, there might be reminders of Charlotte and Cincinnati, which indicates to me that the team is still a little fragile in your mind.
Well, not necessarily fragile, but it doesn't help because, like I mentioned just now, they could cause a mindset which could put you in two thoughts. The other side of the coin is when you go back to the game that we played against Philadelphia, for instance, we concede a late equalizer, and the mindset was very clear because that is one of our principles. We don't fall back and we go forward again and look for the win, and we got that win. On the other hand, Cincinnati is a game where we concede late goals. St. Louis is a game where we concede a late goal, and that doesn't help because that could either bring you in two thoughts or get yourself into trouble like we did in those games.
So what I thought interesting about that, I really wanted to follow up because I said, well, it seems like you're still fragile. Well, we're not fragile, but plays like something like that would put you in two mindsets. So the language is really important, and that's what he's conveying to the team. The words are so important that you don't. That fragile it has a negative connotation. Two mindsets is something different. But we were both saying the same thing, I think.
Yeah, I think he's a little less worried about it than you were based on what he said. But what I was impressed with was basically that the way that they closed out the game. And then just in general, the Red Bulls had 5 shots on goal of their 9 goals. And Matt Freese had 4 saves. So, there wasn't much there. There was a Dylan Nilles header that was like right into his hands, and that was it. That was the only chance that they had in stoppage time, and it was a weak header, and it was right to him, and there wasn't a hell of a lot of danger. They got the goal, on a really good counterattack, and Jesus, Julian Hall is good. You gotta say that kid, for his size and he just doesn't want to lose a thing. And you can just see that, and how he's able to get himself open in front of goal. I mean, that is just a talent. And what a special little player they've got in him. And what is he, 18, 17 still?
He just turned 18. Mehmeti in the midfield just turned 17. And then you've got, when you look at their 11, they have defensive deficiencies. They're frail back there.
Yes.
But man, this kid Mehmeti is, and I believe the reports that there are European sides who are already trying to snap at him, and he is, he's being compared to Busquets. I tell you, I just love how he's a soccer athlete. He moves like a soccer athlete. It's just so smooth. Now, he didn't have a particularly impressive game, but I did focus on him. It's beautiful to be on the roof at Sports Illustrated Stadium. You can, as you can see everything unfold.
The one complaint I had was his maturity, because he was in a running battle with the referee about everything.
Yeah, and that probably got to him. I think that got to him.
Yeah. And you got to learn, basically, and I know he's very young, but sometimes you just have to learn to take it and shut up. The other kid who I really like and I thought had a strong game was Ronald Doncourt. And he's young too. He's 21 years old.
He's 20, I think.
Let me see.
So you got a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old in the midfield, and they're good. Well, Pascal Janssen said today to us after we turned off the microphone, he won't mind us saying, but he was his favorite player seemed to be Donkor. That's the one he was most impressed with. So there you go.
The Red Bulls, continue to, manufacture, if you would like to say, young players at a very high rate. Their academy is absolutely solid.
And they've opened this new training facility. I have not been.
I saw it. I mean, I saw photos of it. It's like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
I was invited as the New York City FC commentator. I was invited, but I think that was my Sirius XM FC connection. Maybe they got me
think?
But I couldn't go. But just seeing all the figures that were there too. Luis Robles, all the past players were. A lot of the big, Dax McCarty was there. These guys were such a big part of it. So to see this new facility, and what's great about it, of course, is that, and what New York City will have one day is the academy team and the first team, the academy teams and the first team are all in the same facility. And
Brad, by the way, Brad Sims spoke about it a week ago at the event that I was at.
Right. What did he say?
He basically said that once the stadium is done and everything's there, they're going to concentrate on a facility to either expand where they are or get something that's closer to New York City and closer to like Long Island and Connecticut and everything else. Because it's to get from Long Island to Orangeburg it's tough.
Yeah. All right, so DC United is the next opponent. We mentioned them briefly earlier, and they do have a couple of wins. I don't want to say that. Are they up to 3? Oh, I don't have the conference standings.
I will give them to you in a second. I believe they're tied with New York City as far as
here we go.
As their record is concerned. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, I got to refresh. I'm sorry. I thought I was supposed to have this up. Let's see. New York City's in 5th place on. No, forgive me. That's.
I've got it here. New York City is 7th place with 12 points, and they have a 3-4-3 record, but they're tied with Toronto.
Okay, so New York City's in 7th, and DC United's in 10th.
Yeah, but they have the exact same record, 3-3-4. Toronto, is 3-4-3. So New York has 3 wins, 4 losses, 3 ties.
Same.
And so they're 7 through 10 are all tied. The difference is that New York City is they have the same amount of goals. I mean, rather, they have the same amount of wins, but New York City is +3 and DC is -4.
Okay, so all right, so there you have it. They're tied in points. Not only will Baribo be out, will he be out injured with his 6 goals out of the 11 they've scored. They're also going to be missing Gabriel Pirani, the Brazilian, and so. I read something, a quote from the coach, Rennie Wheeler, last week. He didn't play in last week's game, and a reporter asked him, why didn't he play? And this is paraphrasing, but this is generally pretty much it. He said to the reporter, well, if you watched him play the last few games, you wouldn't have to ask me that question. This is this is in public. Now, today, at his presser, which I listened in on and then recorded, and I'm going to present this to you right now. He was asked, and this is where we learned that Baribo was out. Now, he's Swiss, and his English is kind of broken, but you'll get the idea about Pirani. Listen to what he says about Pirani.
Baribo will be out, unfortunately. Then we will play this game again with Pirani. So he's playing for himself instead of the team, and I dislike. And I can't see the joy in his face and the identification with our club. So he will be not in the team.
Wow.
I
mean, he plays for himself, not the team, and I don't see the joy in his face. You're out of the squad, which I think I like the intent. I don't know if I like the public declaration, but
I guess he feels that that's the way he's going to get his attention, for him to do whatever he needs to do to play better. I guess that the private messages haven't worked, so now he's like, all right, fine. If you're not listening to me directly, let's do this publicly.
Yeah. How about that though? And that was I was because Dave Johnson and Bruce Murray, who do the radio for DC United, they were on the call as well. So I'm texting them going like, what was that? What is going on? But I found out a little bit more later. Now, we've got a thing that is that has to be pondered by the coaching team, in particular Pascal Janssen. I'm sure they've already got it sorted out. But Tavon Gray, who got that very foolish second yellow against FC Cincinnati. Was it Cincinnati? Yeah, FC Cincinnati. No, who was that against?
Montreal.
Forgive me. In Montreal. So he has to sit this one out against DC United. So who's filling in, Roberto?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
We know it's not Nico Cavallo. We know he's not going to play.
We know Nico. Nico said that he played what was in high school. He played 2 games there, and I think that I forget the exact quote, but it was something like he sucked. So, and that was by him. He was saying that he was awful. So it wasn't him, and he smiled and laughed about it. Let me see. So look, the 2 choices are Kai Truin and Tanasiewicz. You have enough people to be able to use Truin on the right side because you can play Raul Gustavo in the middle of defense where he has been, and then you can play O'Neal and Keaton Parks as twin sixes as they've been used. So you can do that, and I think that's the most likely scenario that Truin plays there. But you can also go with Strania Tanasiewicz on the right, and then you can use, like you did in Montreal, you can use Kai Truin again in the middle because Raul, continues to have these little blips here and there that sadly for New York City have been costly. So
well, you could also if Truin could play the midfield. Parks is still out. Gustavo at the back. Tanasiewicz at the back on the right. That could be the lineup. I'm just looking at Peglo, the other Brazilian on DC United. He attacks on the left side, so he's the one to deal with. He's a pretty good player. I think I'd rather see Tanasiewicz on him. I really would. And play Tanasiewicz until he gets his yellow card, because somewhere within the first hour, he's going to get a yellow card. And then you get him out.
Are you going to sub Truin in at or Gustavo in and move Truin, or Parks in, move Truin at the 15th minute mark?
Yes. This is the way you have to. I think this is the way you have to manage when Strahinja Tanasiewicz is your guy, is your starter. You have to be prepared. Because he's had a couple of really, really near misses as far as getting ejected. So,
he plays with an edge and on the edge.
Yeah, but I like that part of it, and they need that edge, man. I mean, that's something that's really.
So it's going to be one of those 2 guys, by the way. If anybody's wondering, it's going to be one of those 2 guys. It's either going to be Tanasiewicz or it's going to be Truin. It's going to be with a T. It will be a T to start there.
And this one's at City Field, so it doesn't really impact what the decision is going to be there. All right, so that was a good question. The game tomorrow to watch, if we're always scouting, right? And supporters should scout too. Columbus is playing host to Minnesota. Columbus is the next opponent a week from Sunday, and then we've recognized today when the announcement came out in terms of. Well, we've known the opponent, Columbus. Now we know it's on May 20th. So May 10th against Columbus for the home match at Yankee Stadium. And then May 20th at Columbus for the U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal. So there you go.
The former Lower.com field.
Yeah, now it's like it's the
Scott's turf.
It's the grass. It's the grass field.
Scott's turf.
It's a turf field. Yeah, it's the turf. So that field should be in great shape now that they have Scott's Miracle Grow. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, Scott's Miracle
Grow Field. Ay. Dignity, health, blah. Man, I'll tell you, the day Yankee Stadium goes to a sponsor is...
They won't. It's too... I'm surprised the Cowboys actually have a sponsor for their stadium. It's AT&T, and I know they paid $1 gazillion for it, but there are iconic brands in the world that you don't change. And, Yankee Stadium's one, Madison Square Garden is another. And, you'd like to see some more of those type stadiums not do that. But Estadio Azteca, they changed the name there. Yeah. Now it's Estadio Banorte, which is a bank.
So the CONCACAF Champions Cup, if we move on from MLS for a moment, LAFC beats Toluca in the first leg as they continue in the CCC. Marc Dos Santos, who Roberto is a favorite of mine. I have become friendly with him. I feel fortunate because sitting around and talking footy with Marc Dos Santos is really a pleasure. He's not so happy with the schedulers in Major League Soccer, and
you think?
I just thought we'd play this now. So they've won the game. All right, now they got to go to Mexico and see if they could sort it out there. And Toluca does have a road goal, and then CCC CONCACAF Champions Cup, the road goal counts in the tiebreaker thing. But anyway, here's the first year LAFC coach after the game.
The schedule is a scandal. Is a scandal. I don't understand why MLS didn't find who's the guy in the office that says, yeah, this is a good idea to have them play in San Diego. They don't want us in the final. Like, MLS has to help MLS teams. And I see it in South America when Palmeiras, Flamengo arrive quarterfinals, semifinal, they get help. They change a game, they put another in the schedule. PSG, many of their games in France has been moved. We're playing for 10 weeks, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, and sometimes the Saturday at 1 p.m., 3 p.m. Guys, who is the genius in the meeting that says, I have a good idea, I want to meet that guy? Because at some point it's enough, Like, I've been keeping a lot inside, but Saturday we have to go to San Diego, and yeah, you have to go there, win, yeah. And then we have to go to Toluca, home against Houston, in St. Louis, in Nashville. Okay, and people think it's like a PlayStation that they run. Me, when I play PlayStation, my players run a lot all the time. They're never tired. But life is not like that. Sorry, guys, I needed you to. Great question.
Fantastic. And he's 100% right. He's 100% right. By the way, Toluca has a bigger problem than they do, because Toluca, yes, is playing at home, but they play Pachuca on, Sunday or Saturday? They play this weekend against Pachuca. Let me see exactly. It's Sunday. So they play Sunday against Pachuca, but they have a 9:00 game. But it's a playoff game. They can't afford to rest anybody. So Mexico's is starting their playoffs now. I mean, if LAFC puts, their backup team with LAFC 2 players or whatever, and they wind up blowing, 3 points, against a San Diego team that has not been playing very well, mind you, I don't think it winds up being such a big deal, right? Because LAFC right now is in third place, 20 points, 7 points behind San Diego. But more importantly, they are 8 points in front of Houston, who is in 9th place. So, that they're in a safe spot where they can rest players and then, go and play Toluca, which is, by the way, even higher than Mexico City as far as altitude is concerned.
Yeah, that's
it's a tough place to play. Yeah. And it's a great stadium there. But holds 30,000 and everybody's
Roberto,
on top of you.
Roberto, I appreciate the Mexican perspective, but you're going off the rails here. Let's focus on this. We've had coaches every year talk about this, but none that harsh. And honestly, we don't know who actually makes the schedule. The schedule has to be made through AI. It has to be. And then they look at it, and then maybe they tweak it where they can. But that's a computer schedule. If you're asking me how they did it, I don't think there's a guy in the back room, trying to work it out like the old days. I mean,
but there's somebody who's got to input the information to the computer and then look at what the computer has spit out.
I don't know who ultimately. I don't know. This is a good Nelson Rodriguez question, and
yes,
Nelson's a friend of ours, and it's not about. I've always said it's not
he may
about.
not be after we ask him the question.
Well, it's not about hammering anybody. It's about how do you solve it, and
I
why
know.
wouldn't. But why wouldn't they move this San Diego game? Why
By
wouldn't
the
you do
way,
it?
you're right, 100%. I mean, it behooves the league. It's important for the league to win these tournaments, and yet, and they always talk about how how well they do and all of that. But yet, it's one championship in 18 or 19 years, and that was Seattle. What is it now? 3 years ago.
By the way, hey Roberto, I know you'll be excited for it.
Oh, there it is, number 2.
This is the sample copy, but it's up on Kindle now, and next Tuesday it actually goes out on Amazon.
Woo-hoo.
But on the one of the testimonials is from Nelson Rodriguez, who says, sophisticated, smart, and friendly, Glenn engages his subject and audience in equal measure. The result is an enlightened and entertaining conversation that leaves us a bit wiser and more in love with the game. Thank you, Nelson. And he's right, of course, but yeah. So put it on frame 2. Put it on frame 2. Look at this design. It's pretty. Oh, you can't see because of the sample. I'll bring in another one later. Hall of Fame in Frisco, Texas tonight, going on right now as we speak. And 2 players. Well, here's the list: Tobin Heath, Heather O'Reilly, Chris Wondolowski, Kevin Crow, Tony Senna, and Carrie Seitz. Carrie Seitz for refereeing, and Tobin and Heather. I've coached both of them, not full time, but they have played for me in the New Jersey Olympic Development Program many, many, many years ago. And I know Tobin is a favorite of yours, and then I
loved her
too.
game.
And then Heather is just, I remember her in 8th grade here in East Brunswick, and people were starting to talk. You got to go out and watch this kid play. I was at Rutgers at the time. I was like, all right, she can run, man. She was fast, and then she became a sophisticated player along the way to go with her athletic ability. But Tobin was the kind of play. She had a soccer ball all over the house. She would famously nutmeg her parents in the kitchen, while they were, her mom was cooking or whatever, her dad was cooking, whatever it was. And she'd be so her big thing was during the day, how many times she could nutmeg her parents in the house.
How many times could she nutmeg an opponent or make them look silly with just a bevy of just talented moves? I mean, she's just unreal.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, before we're not quite closed yet, but those that are watching, subscribe, like, and you can also put up a little review. There's room for that as well. So make sure we spread the word that we're here once a week, and we try to make it on the day we've been at training because it's fresh and you're hearing stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else. That's for certain. And
it's important for the algorithm for us folks. So if you can really like, subscribe, and as Glenn says, leave a comment, even if it's derogatory. Anything's better. Love me, hate me, don't ignore me. I subscribe to that 100%. So if you have constructive criticism, we take it. Glenn will cry, but it's okay.
World Cup. So I found a spot. I found a spot in Bloomfield, New Jersey, and it's called Veritage. And here is the owner. He's a Portuguese guy, Portuguese American. His name is Mark Costa. They brew the beer on site, and then they have this whole bevy of large screens. So I went there for the PSG 5 Bayern Munich 4 match in Champions League last week. And then when I was there, I looked up, and what was there? An R.J. Allen signed jersey.
Wow.
Yeah, so R.J. Allen is in there as well. And so it's a cool spot. And he talked about he'll make beers for individuals. Tab Ramos came in and helped him construct like a Tab Ramos beer. Now, and Tab doesn't really, I don't think he even drinks, but they made a beer in honor of Tab Ramos, and this is the sort
really
of thing
cool.
they do. Yeah. So
while you're giving shout outs, then I got to give one out today, because today when I went up to Poughkeepsie after training to pick Eddie up, bring him back from Marist, as he's got work on Sunday with the team. So I stopped by this Mexican restaurant that I've been hearing about, like on Instagram for God knows how long. It's called Tortilleria Allison. And oh my God, the food was just off the charts. It was so good to find this literally on Main Street in the middle of Poughkeepsie, and to have a restaurant that had that good of food. Like, oh my goodness. If you're ever there, just look up Torteria Allison. The food is fantastic. They close on Mondays. That I did hear. And the place was just great. And now they're going to listen to the Spanish broadcast of NYC, so I'm very happy.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll listen to the English if they have if they know what what's happening here.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, at least we both get shout outs there. Best
look at
NYCFC
that.
podcast. Well, I don't know, but we like everybody that does one. Whether we're the best.
We're fans of everybody.
Just listening. We have been there since the first kick, so I think that gives us some
It does.
sort of.
Can I one other shout out? Yesterday, after the New York City game against the Red Bulls, when it was a Wednesday, right? The City Boys, okay, on their stories on Instagram, they had a series of memes that they put up there that they built themselves that were absolutely hysterical. They killed it. They made me laugh out loud. They were that good. And the amount of excitement that was generated by that game within the New York City fan base was just amazing. And here's something that I heard that annoyed me. Red Bull season ticket holders were given tickets for free for that game.
Okay.
How could it be so poorly attended?
Oh, that
if they were given tickets for free, free for the game,
Roberto,
how do they not go and support their team? It's mind-boggling.
The first 2 years of Red Bull Arena, I was a season ticket holder, but there was excitement, there was a buzz, new stadium, and a lot of people went to those games. I think I got this right. And it was after New York City arrived. Now, the Red Bull Arena opened in 2010, but I stopped going, I think, in 2013. But then when New York City arrived, I don't know how much of an impact that actually had. I don't think there's crossover supporters. There's a few, but not many. But they've just never, and sometimes we get hammered for talking about this. I'm a New Jersey resident who supported that team, paid money for tickets a game for 2 years. And it's not that at all. It's a condemnation of the New Jersey soccer community that they use the freaking worn out excuse of parking and this. It's 17 games a year. Plus you host a playoff game or you host a US Open Cup game or a Leagues Cup game. So tops, it's going to be like 22 or 23 games a year, tops out of three. How many days are there in a year?
365 normally, but
so
yes.
you can't like suffer a little lengthy exit from the stadium,
parking issue or something like that.
I hate that
on my
excuse.
screen. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I was a season ticket holder too for 2 years, and what was it, 2014, 2015, and then obviously working with New York City. And got our season tickets in New York City. And it's not that terrible to get out there. Yes, I mean there are better situations, but there are worse situations. Freaking New England is 45 minutes away from Boston, and their parking situation is 1,000,000 times worse. And they get, they average over 20,000. They get several crowds over 30 every year. It's partly the marketing.
Yeah,
it's partly the players. Not the players' fault, but the players who they have. They don't have any really exciting players. That they did it with Henry and Rafa Marquez for as long as that experiment worked. But there's a lot of reasons, and it's a shame. I would love for it to be where they're selling out every game and New York City's selling out every game. Because there's room for two teams here and more, right? There's room in the New York area for two teams to be well supported. We have that in three teams in hockey, two teams in basketball, two in the NFL, two teams in baseball. Every sport has at least two teams, and they're all pretty well supported.
No one has ever said that, though, Robert. No one's ever said there aren't enough people to go to the games. There's not enough to share. The problem is, I don't know what the problem is. So I'm a New Jersey resident, so I'm part of the problem, apparently, because I'm part of this soccer community, and I just can't because one of the Red Bull Arena or Sports Illustrated Stadium is a fantastic venue in terms of the atmosphere and the noise in that building. There were 2,000 people in the building the other day, and it was loud. I mean, it was really loud.
Yeah.
And then when there's 25 or 20 or whatever it holds now, it's massive. So that's the shame of it too, man. There's such a great atmosphere there, or can be.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a lovely stadium. I love that place. I really, really do. Wow. And, to see all those empty seats game after game after game after game. I mean, even the supporters didn't fill up their area. I mean, those are supposed to be the diehards.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's sad. And we're not, we want to see them do well. We really do want to see them do well.
Yep.
And to see that is just sad.
Let's close with, I just thought it important. There's been so much talk about the cost of this World Cup, and New York City, the New York governor's office announced this week that in New York, there's going to be 5 venues with free fan festivals. Billie Jean King, right next to where Etihad Park's going to be. The Fan Village at Rockefeller Center, Bronx Terminal Market, Staten Island University Hospital Community Park, and Brooklyn Bridge Park. So the boroughs are covered. It's free, and there's certain dates, so you have to really check closely which dates they're open and which they're not. But I thought that was great news.
Yeah, I agree. And, like every bar is going to be full, and there's going to be supporters everywhere. So it's going to be, once the games start, it's going to be fun. In the meantime, it's a freaking nightmare. I mean, I'm still seething over $150 to get there by train, $100 to get there by bus, and no other way to get there. Oh, no, you can park at the American Dream for $225, $250 or whatever it is, and that's it. But nobody can drop you off at the stadium. You can't take an Uber to the stadium. You can't do it. It's either you take these or you don't go.
The Associated Press had so we'll close on a negative note. The Associated Press had a World Cup ticket story this afternoon published. It says this: tickets for most of the FIFA World Cup group games remain on general sale. So most of the games, even though the FIFA president suggested that every game would be sold out, that there were 6 billion requests, or what, I'm exaggerating again, sorry. Yeah. But anyway, the tickets range in this general sale from $380 for the cheapest to $4,105 with just over a month to go. The U.S. opening game against Paraguay, that's at SoFi, is the most expensive. It's $4,105.
It's nuts. I'm telling you.
$4,000 to get into a freaking game.
I'm telling you that the day before, 2 days before game day, those tickets are going to plummet in price. They're going to plummet.
But what do you think they'll plummet to? Seriously, you know this market better than me. I don't really follow the retail.
I'm not 100% sure, but they're going to be. Unless Ticketmaster or whoever it is, FIFA, doesn't allow it to be at at reasonable prices, then that's a different story. But also, I hope that they sell out these games. If not, they're going to be free. Not only they're going to be embarrassed, they're going to lose money. And I just hope that they lose money. Meanwhile, in Canada, they just passed something that they can only resell tickets for face value. You can't.
Wow. Well,
how is
FIFA getting their cut then? So is FIFA still taking a cut of that?
Well, FIFA is going to take 15%. Yeah, if you bought the ticket for $100, let's say, and now you can only sell it for $100. So you're really only going to get $85, and the person buying it has to pay $115.
You saw the front office sports story, I think. I don't think we covered this last time, where they discovered 4 tickets on the resale market for the World Cup final at MetLife for over $2 million each.
Oh yeah, why not?
Ticket.
Why not try it? If some schmuck is going to go and pay that, fine.
But FIFA gets 30% off of every resale.
Right, so they get 15 and 15.
15 and 15, so they get 30% of that. So 30% of $2 million is what? 600,000 is little over 600,000, I think, and multiply that by 4. So they get $2.5 million if they sell all those tickets. FIFA gets 2.5.
It's all a scam, Glenn. It's all a scam. It's horrific what they've done, because they've taken the average soccer fan, which is what has built this sport. Okay. They've taken the average soccer fan and said, you stay home. We don't care. We don't give a crap about you. We just want people with money. And they're going to kill the goose of the golden eggs. I hope it tastes good.
Philadelphia, and there's one other thing I want to play. I know we're over the hour mark now, and we usually try to stay within that, but who cares?
Well, we do, because we want more people to watch, and it hurts our algorithm. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, but people like to see what Mauricio Pochettino has to say. But Philadelphia, they are not jacking up their transit rates on the what do they have, a metro? $2.90, which is their normal rate. They're hosting 6 games at the Link, which includes a round of 16 match. Plus, they have a free fan festival, a big deal, and a $60 bus ticket to the game. So, no. That's New Jersey. There was a New Jersey reporter on NorthJersey.com. I want to make sure I get this right. That has discovered that people can get to the game for $60 on the bus instead of $80, which was the figure we saw, or $150, which was the other figure that you talked about and that's on the train.
No, but it is cheaper if you live in New York City, or Jersey. It's cheaper to go and take Amtrak, or even drive to Philly, and then take Amtrak, and then take one of the buses or trains to the stadium, and then come back, than it is to go to MetLife. It's insanity.
So finally, and I don't know if you saw, I posted this, Roberto, and look, this conversation, Mauricio Pochettino with the Gary Neville podcast, and you'll see some other, and Roy Keane's in there, and it's quite a crew. And they spend about an hour and 17 minutes with him. So I went through it last night and I clipped some things. And I think, Pochettino's Argentinian. We know the story of Bielsa pulling him out of bed at his farm, when he was 13 years old. And but Pochettino talked about the development, and there were a couple of different things he said. So I'm just going to play. This is 1 minute and 44 seconds, so hang in there. But hopefully this inspires you to watch the whole thing, because he also talks about things like Chelsea and what a raw deal he got there. But here he goes.
The problem is not to create more schools. It's about to create spaces to the kids going to play. Because what I didn't learn from my teachers or from my coaches. What I learned was from my friends when I play. I play again one that was 3 or more and bigger than me.
Yes.
I wanted to take the ball. And I developed my capacity, my emotional intelligence to how to take the ball here.
Yes.
And then the grass doesn't exist. I play in the soil. And this type of thing is because that is football. It's not to build, it's not a factory
You're playing on the streets, basically.
It's where you learn with the ball. The ball teach you. It's not the coach that teach you. Yeah. And sometimes people that is very rational say, no, if we create this and that and that and that, equal to this. No. In football, no. In football it's not like this. I saw in some facilities that because today you go to the, all the training grounds are amazing.
Oh,
it's like
amazing,
billiard or pool,
smooth,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And in one facility was a pitch that was in the square, or when you play with your friends. And that was, it's an intelligent idea, a clever idea, because maybe one day, go on to play there.
Yeah, on the back
and no coach.
That's a little warm up. So I'm always enticed by development things. And look at him. He said more places to play free, but he's visited academies that have little areas where you can go free play. And he said once a week, and we've talked about this on my Sirius XM show quite a bit. Once a week, let the boys just play. Let the girls just play. no coach.
That's great. I mean, I've always thought that that's like, apply what you've learned and try things that's going to piss a coach off, maybe about trying to take people on one-on-one instead of finding the perfect pass and that sort of thing, or all these little skills that you saw maybe Thales Magno do, or, Fernandez Mercado on how to beat somebody one-on-one, because they're very good at that. And try those things, and because where else are you going to try them? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do that.
And you know what halts some academies, I'm sure, from doing this, or clubs from doing this, is because, and I experienced this because I would have free practice where I didn't say a word. Parents are paying money for their kid and a lot of money for their kid to be in a certain club, and they want the coach doing something.
As a parent of a kid, that was in an academy for several years, I wanted the free play. I was like, I didn't need him to be coached 24/7. I mean, but, maybe I have a different understanding of the game because I've been in the game for so long. But I I would have killed for them to say, please, here's half an hour, let's, go play. And we're just going to watch. We're just going to go have fun. Go have fun. Go enjoy the game. Go apply what you've learned, or go apply what you've seen.
Well, there's
just
two
have
sides
fun
of it. Yeah. Well, you're in the minority, number one.
No, I'm sure I am.
The other side of it is the coaches, they want to impart their wisdom. This is it. I was a victim of that. You want to impart your wisdom. You go to coaching school, you get your A badge, you want to show off everything that you've learned. And you only maybe have them twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, and then the game on the weekend. And so you're kind of stuck in this, I have to train them, I have to speak to them, I have to correct them, and it breaks down. I agree in many, many ways with what Pochettino said there. Create the free play in your environments in order to, and the kids will have more fun too, that's the other thing. They don't.
If you have the fields, if you're big enough and you have the fields, just tell parents, by the way, field 7, we're gonna do half and half. Let your kids come and play on Thursdays.
Yeah.
No coaches. Just come and play. It's going to be open play. If we have too many players, then we'll play 3 goals and then we'll switch teams. What in Spanish we used to call retadoras. You stayed on the field if you won. And
winner stays on is how John Hart says he developed in Kearney. That's how he developed. He said the biggest development tool in his life was playing street ball in the cages in Harrison, New Jersey, the home of Sports Illustrated Stadium. And winner stays on, because if you lost and there's 50 guys there, you're not playing for another 20 minutes to a half hour.
Absolutely. You got to sit there and watch.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Mexico doing this all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a great way, especially if you're in an academy, because you're getting good coaching, hopefully, and then you're applying those things that you've learned, plus you're doing what you want to do in a way, because, the coach isn't yelling at you, or the parents are yelling at you, which is even worse.
Yeah. Well, I encourage, it's the Stick to Football podcast is the name of the podcast. They've had like 130 episodes, and it's and this one is in particular with the World Cup coming, and Pochettino's our guy. So you might as well listen to our guy. That's why I put it. So if you go on my social media, the YouTube link is right there to watch the whole thing, or you can just go on YouTube and find Stick to Football. And that's going to be it, I think. So again, reviewing, Sunday is the game, not Saturday.
Yes.
Sunday against DC United at Citi Field, so don't go to Yankee Stadium. I think I told Dave Johnson to go to Yankee Stadium. I'm gonna have to call him back. And then and we're on at 2:45, Roberto and I. Spanish for Roberto, myself in English, with our pregame show. And then Matty Lawrence and I will be on at 2 p.m. with NYCFC pregame live from Citi Field to see what we can come up with in terms of a preview. We get the starting 11 and all that stuff.
A reminder for everybody, please, on YouTube, just please like and subscribe and leave a comment. It's really important for us. We really have to start building out and let people know about what we're doing here. If you like it, So more of you can join and chime in and listen, and hopefully you're enjoying this.
Yeah, join in. We put your comments up like this. Look at that. All right. Always. Thanks for the show, guys. Excellent.
There you
All
go.
right, there you go. There you go. All right. For Roberto, I'm Glenn, and this has been NYCFC Views Live. Thanks for being here.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast NYCFC Views on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.
Huh.
Okay, it ended. I wanted to see how many.
I didn't end.
We got
Hold on,
35 views.
Hold on, please.